Saint Augustine commentary on the Gospel of John chapter 11 verse 1 to 54 following. And now see how the disciples were terrified at his words. The disciples say unto him, Master, the Jews of late sought to stone you, and do you go thither again? Jesus answered, Are there not 12 hours in the day? What means such an answer? They said to him, The Jews of late sought to stone you, and do you go thither again to be stoned? And the Lord, Are there not 12 hours in the day? If any man walk in the day, he stumbles not, because he sees the light of this world. But if he walks in the night, he stumbles, because there is no light in him. He spoke indeed of the day, but to our understanding as if it were still the night. Let us call upon the day to chase away the night and illuminate our hearts with the light. For what did the Lord mean? As far as I can judge, and as the height and depth of his meaning breaks into light, he wished to argue down their doubting and unbelief. And they wished by their counsel to keep the Lord from death, who had come to die, to save themselves from death. In a similar way also in another passage, St. Peter, who loved the Lord, but did not yet fully understand the reason of his coming, was afraid of his dying, and so displeased the life to wit the Lord himself. For when he was intimating to the disciples what he was about to suffer at Jerusalem at the hands of the Jews, Peter made reply among the rest and said, Far be it from you, Lord, pity yourself, this shall not be unto you. And at once the Lord replied, Get you behind me, Satan, for you savour not the things that be of God, but those that be of men. And yet a little before, in confessing the Son of God, he had merited commendation, for he heard the words, Blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed it unto you, but my Father who is in heaven. Matthew chapter 16, verse 16 to 23. To whom he had said, Blessed are you, he now says, Get you behind me, Satan. Because it was not of himself that he was blessed. But of what then? For flesh and blood have not revealed it unto you, but my Father who is in heaven. See, this is how you are blessed, not from anything that is your own, but from that which is mine. Not that I am the Father, but that all things which the Father have are mine. That the Father has are mine. Chapter 16, verse 15. But if his blessedness came from the Lord's own working, from whose working came he to be Satan? He there tells us, for he assigned the reason of such blessedness when he said, Flesh and blood have not revealed this unto you, but my Father who is in heaven. That is the cause of your blessedness. But that I said, Get you behind me, Satan, here also its cause. For you savour not the things that be of God, but those that be of men. Let no one then flatter himself. In that which is natural to himself, he is Satan. In that which is of God, he is blessed. For all that is of his own, whence comes it but from his sin? Put away the sin which is your own. Righteousness, he says, belongs unto me. For what have you that you did not receive? 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 7. Accordingly, when men wish to give counsel to God, disciples to their master, servants to their Lord, patients to their physician, he reproved them by saying, Are there not 12 hours in the day? If any man walk in the day, he stumbles not. Follow me, if you would not stumble. Give not counsel to me, from whom you ought to receive it. To what then refer the words, Are there not 12 hours in the day? Just that to point himself out as the day, he made choice of 12 disciples. If I am the day, he says, and you the hours, is it not for the hours to give counsel to the day? The day is followed by the hours, not the hours by the day. If these then were the hours, what in such a reckoning was Judas? Was he also among the 12 hours? If he was an hour, he had light. And if he had light, how was the day betrayed by him to death? But the Lord in so speaking foresaw not Judas himself, but his successor. For Judas, when he fell, was succeeded by Matthias, and the duodenary number preserved. Acts chapter 1, verse 26. It was not then without a purpose that the Lord made choice of 12 disciples, but to indicate that he himself is the spiritual day. Let the hours then attend upon the day, let them preach the day, be made known and illuminated by the day, and by the preaching of the hours may the world believe in the day. And so in a summary way, it was just this that he said, Follow me, if you would not stumble. And after that he says unto them, Our friend Lazarus sleeps, but I go that I may awake him out of sleep. It was true what he said. To his sisters he was dead, to the Lord he was asleep. He was dead to men, who could not raise him again. But the Lord aroused him with a great ease from the tomb, as one arouses a sleeper from his bed. Hence it was in reference to his own power that he spoke of him as sleeping. For others also, who are dead, are frequently spoken of in Scripture as sleeping. As when the Apostle says, But I would not have you to be ignorant, brethren, concerning those who are asleep, that you sorrow not, even as others who have no hope. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 13. Therefore, he also spoke of them as sleeping, because foretelling their resurrection. And so all the dead are sleeping, both good and bad. But just as in the case of those who sleep and waken day by day, there is a great difference as to what they severely see in their sleep. Some experience pleasant dreams, others dreams so frightful that the waking are afraid to fall asleep for fear of their recurrence. So every individual sleeps and wakens in circumstances peculiar to himself. And there is a difference as to the kind of custody one may be placed in, who is afterwards to be taken before the judge. For the kind of custody in which men are placed depends on the merits of the case. Some are required to be guarded by lictors, an office humane and mild, and becoming a citizen. Others are given up to subordinates. Some again are sent to prison, and in the prison itself all are not thrust together into its lowest dungeons, but dealt with in proportion to the merits and superior gravity of the charges. As then there are different kinds of custody among those engaged in official life, so there are different kinds of custody for the dead and differing merits in those who rise again. The beggar was taken into custody, so was the rich man, but the one into Abraham's bosom, the other where he thirsted and found not a drop of water. Luke chapter 16, verse 22 to 24.